So what if I told you that you could claw back 10 hours every single week? Not by working harder, but by building a few incredibly simple AI tools. I know it sounds a little bit like science fiction, right? But it's not. It's my actual story, and today I'm going to walk you through exactly how I did it.
But let's start with you for a second. Just think about your work week. How much of your day, your week, is just gone? Sucked up by these mind-numbing, repetitive tasks. You know the ones. The copying, the pasting, the formatting. The work that makes you feel more like a robot than a person.
For me, that number was a solid 10 hours. Every single week. That is more than a full workday. Just poof, vanished. That was my reality. And to be honest, it was absolutely soul-crushing.
Yeah, this is what I've come to call the manual work trap. It's that feeling of being completely stuck on a hamster wheel. You're running and running, doing all this work that has to get done, but it adds zero real value. It's a place a lot of us know way too well.
My world was production planning, and what that really meant was that I was drowning, absolutely drowning in spreadsheets. Every day I was just wrestling with data from all these different places, trying to force it into reports that made sense. It was a battle, every single day.
Now take a look at this list. Does any of this sound painfully familiar? My week was just this endless cycle of grunt work. Copy-pasting from one Excel sheet to another, formatting the same report until my eyes glazed over, trying to summarize data from like a dozen different files. It was mind-numbing for sure. And honestly, the constant fear of making one little mistake was always hanging over me.
But here's the thing about that hamster wheel. You can only run on it for so long. Eventually, you hit a wall, a breaking point. That one moment where you just can't take it anymore, and you know something's got to give.
My breaking point came in the form of these exact words from my boss. He needed this critical report for some last-minute meeting. The data was all over the place, scattered across 3 different systems. I just knew my manual process would take at least 5 hours. And I had one. The panic, it was immediate.
The pressure was just immense. I felt totally trapped by my own slow, clunky process, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I wasn't in control of my work anymore. The work was in control of me. And right there, in that moment, I knew. Things had to change. I just couldn't do it anymore.
So, I started to explore. Not with some grand plan to become a coding wizard, no. My idea was way simpler. I just thought, what if I could build a little digital assistant? Something smart that could just handle all the boring stuff for me. And this right here is exactly what I mean by a custom AI tool. Seriously, forget the big, intimidating Hollywood version of AI. We're talking about a simple, smart little helper that you create yourself to do one specific, boring task automatically. That is it. It's your own personal assistant built just for you.
I started with the tasks that caused me the most pain. I built one little assistant to automatically summarize our daily logs. I built another to help plan out my weekly reports. But my favorite, the real game changer, was an assistant that could literally scrape data straight from a PDF file and drop it perfectly into Excel every single time.
So what was the actual result of all this? What was the real-world impact? Well, let's just take a look at the before and after, because it's pretty wild.
The transformation was just incredible. I mean, before, my days were just filled with hours of manual clicking, and I was constantly stressed about making mistakes with all this messy data. After, those same tasks became a one-click deal. Fast, accurate results every time. And all that time I got back, I could finally focus on the stuff that actually requires a human brain.
And this chart, this right here, tells the whole story. Remember that urgent 5-hour report that nearly gave me a heart attack? With my new AI assistant, it takes 20 minutes. Okay, let that sink in. From 5 hours of pure stress down to a 20-minute, one-click task. This isn't just a tiny improvement, it's a complete revolution. And it's one that's available to you right now.
So you're probably asking, okay, that's great for you, but how do I get these same results? How can you start building your own little digital helpers and taking back your time? Well, let's talk about it. Let's get you started on your journey.
First, I want you to burn this idea into your brain. I am not a programmer. I didn't need to be. The only real requirement here is being completely fed up with wasting your time on stuff a computer can do better. If you're at that point, trust me, you're ready.
So how do you actually start? It's a simple 4-step process. First, identify one. Just one small, repetitive task that drives you absolutely crazy. Second, get a little more comfortable with the basics of a tool you already use every day, like Excel. Third, explore a really simple automation tool to be your assistant. This could be something like a macro in Excel or a no-code tool. And fourth, the best part, you just let your new assistant do the work.
Now listen, the goal is not to automate your entire job overnight. The secret, the real key, is to start small. Pick one thing, build that first little assistant, and just watch it work. That one small win is going to give you all the confidence you need to do so much more.
And all of this brings us to the final and honestly the most important question of all. When you save those 5 or 10 or even more hours every week, what are you going to do with all that time you've reclaimed? Are you going to focus on bigger, more creative projects, learn a new skill, or maybe, just maybe, you'll get to leave work on time for once? The possibilities are now yours to create.